Hello and welcome to Operation Popcast, where we dive into the rewarding yet challenging journey of fatherhood while balancing demanding careers. Join us as we share real stories, practical advice, and meaningful conversations about being present and an engaged father. Today I'm sitting with Derek. Derek is a firefighter paramedic, a father of one. Is that right? How many? Three kids. Mm-hmm. Outstanding, Derek. Okay. And what else can we say about you?
That sums it up pretty good, actually. I mean, those are two of the things that I'm probably very proud to be.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're great things to aspire to and to live with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's start with, so firefighter, paramedic. Kind of paint a picture for us. You're a senior in high school, you're about to graduate, you're moving into the workforce. How did paramedicine, firefighting kind of enter your realm?
Mm-hmm. You know, it was, I wanted to be a paramedic a lot sooner than I was. And I had the idea when I was in junior high school, actually. And it came about where I was, we were playing sports with my family. We do like a Thursday or Tuesday every week, kind of meet with all my dad's brothers, and we play volleyball and all this stuff. And it got to thinking that these guys are going to be older at some point, and I wanted to be there to help in case something were to happen.
Really?
Yeah.
So in the spirit of athleticism, you were feeling a bit nostalgic during those times, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Interesting.
So that was the light bulb moment, maybe, but I was too young and naive to grab it and run with it like I should have.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So in those moments of kind of stumbling through that thought process, how does the world of EMS, first responding, how does that kind of enter your spotlight?
Well, for a while there, the real light bulb moment where it really captivated me, and I finally decided to really get it done and go to become a paramedic was I was on a duty crew shift at Lakeville Fire, where I was working, obviously, duty crew shifts. And I was kind of brainstorming, like, what the heck do I need to do to become full-time fire? And it was just like a lightning strike light bulb. And it's like, I got to become a paramedic, And it kind of took me all the way back to that moment. And all these years later, I finally put that all together. And then it was just like, how when you're doing something and it just takes you. And going to school didn't seem like there was no drag in going to school. I was involved. I was excited. I loved to be in class and learn and do all this stuff, despite how challenging it is. It was a good time.
So entering the fire service through the gates of EMS,
mm-hmm.
Is that common? The world seems so separate, but maybe they're not as separate as I think they are.
No, I think nowadays I think that's the hard reality is that they are so intimately connected that it's very rare to just be able to be a firefighter and go play and fight fire all the time.
Yeah. You mentioned that there's an intimate relationship between EMS and the fire service. So I was kind of talking to a guy the other day, actually on this podcast. He is a paramedic as well, but he works with a service where it's just EMS. And I understand it as the private EMS world. Kind of explain to me what the two different worlds look like,
mm-hmm.
if you want to just focus on EMS or if you want to kind of garnish the firefighting on top of that. What does that look like?
Well, interestingly enough, there is the private EMS side does have their lifers, and that they want to stay far away as they can from the fire service for a variety of reasons, whether it's accurate or inaccurate. But I would say the biggest thing one of the biggest differences is the camaraderie between, like, say, a multi-company station versus maybe you and your partner bidding a shift, on an ambulance where you're handcuffed to each other for that 12 hours, and it's you two against the world.
Yeah, yeah. And you've worked in both realms?
Yes.
And right now you work for an organization that does both fire and EMS. Was that something that you've always started with in your career, or did you kind of paint me a picture between different organizations maybe you started with? Well,
the goal ultimately, after I got my paramedic, the goal was to springboard into fire for sure. But initially, and it's a great experience. And as a matter of fact, I think every new paramedic should go to a private EMS service and go through their FTO process, and that whole gambit of obstacles that are thrown at you, and dealing with partners and whatnot. But ultimately, I wanted to use that as a springboard into the fire service for sure.
Sure. Okay. With the role that you have now, how kind of explain the day-to-day? What does it look like coming into work? They're 24-hour shifts, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when someone hears you're working for 24 hours, that just blows their mind.
Mm-hmm.
Let's rap about that. You're not. Maybe you are awake for the whole time and you're just running calls, but kind of just start from the beginning of your day. What does a shift look like?
Well, I guess technically the shift for me starts the next or the day before, depending if I'm on the fire truck or even the ambulance, especially where I work at the station is very busy. So I tend to do, my preparation is eating, maybe carb loading, starting to get some electrolytes in, because at 7 o'clock, when we are historically requested to be in, shift initially starts at 8 o'clock, but we come in at 7 o'clock to allow the off-coming shift an opportunity to get out of here on time and not catch a call that holds them over. But my day starts the day before for that preparation, because you can catch a fire right away, and if you don't have the fuel and the nutrients necessary already in your system, you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah. What does that prep work look like for you?
The carb loading, maintaining hydration for sure. Starting to deal with electrolytes, vitamins, and other nutrients. Definitely like bananas for potassium, because I cramp quite a bit. So even when I'm trained, having to know my weaknesses and what happens to me when we catch a fire, so I can be optimal for the crew that I'm with.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned water consumption. I feel like there's so many things out there between calculations and mathematics, body weight. What rules do you follow? Like how did you adopt hydration into your life? What does it look like? Why did you choose the method that you're using?
That's an ongoing struggle, to be honest with you. I feel like I drink so much water, and I'm just always feeling dehydrated. But part of that is because I do a lot of working out. I do a lot of cardiovascular training for the job. I definitely don't want to be a slouch, so that's I feel like I'm always behind.
Sure.
So I probably drink about 2 gallons a day, and I just use the old urine color as a measuring stick.
Yeah, the old tried and true method, right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned nutrients, vitamins. Are you on some sort of kind of walk us through what's on your countertop before shift, things that you're consuming?
I have lion's mane, which that's more from the brain. That's a good mushroom that they use that's been proven to grow synaptic connections in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
I do alpha brain. I feel a difference. I really can't say to what it does. To me, it makes me feel sharp for sure. I definitely notice when I don't have it. I do magnesium, and that's a lot for cramping, magnesium glycinate specifically, and multivitamin, creatine, do about 10 grams of creatine, and that's for one total body, but also that has been also recently been shown to help with brain function. So the rest of the stuff I really try to get naturally through food.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to stay away from whey proteins and stuff like that. That's something definitely I keep my kids who are training sometimes with me, which is very fun, but away from like some of those what I'd call gimmicky supplements.
And the whey proteins is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Why are you keeping them away from that?
Well, one, it's expensive. Two, I've been training. I love to train. I've been training my whole life. And I used to work in this pharmacy, and this pharmacist mentioned that whey is a waste in a sense, and that I should just be eating real food. And I trusted him enough to try it,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a night and day difference. It
Really?
was, yeah. I was instantly sold. I could just, the feeling of my muscles and the results from my training were so much more improved that it swore off whey protein forever.
So what, just an introduction of nuts, red meat?
Yeah. Yeah, hunter-gatherer, but, definitely eating real food, real meat,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And
It's
you're doing a
specifically
lot.
steak for me.
Okay. You're doing a lot of the food prep at home?
I really don't food prep. I mean, my eating schedule is pretty wonky, I guess. It's definitely not it's not for the faint of heart, because there are days where I'll do fasting, definitely, and then I do a lot of carnivore or maybe keto,
Sure.
mixed in with carb cycling, which
Okay.
is huge. That's a good one. I think it's not, doesn't seem to be well known, but it's a game changer for me as well.
So between the lion's mane, the red meat consumption, I'm hearing a lot of methods. Tell me about the development of all this. Like, why is this so important to you? How did it start? I mean, there's an experimental factor.
Yeah.
I'm sure a timeline that goes with that. Where's the desire? Where does this come from?
I was just talking about with my son the other day. Years of trial and error. That's it. I have a uncanny joy of training and going to the gym and trying. Maybe it's to chase my youth. I don't know, but or try to keep youthful.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a constant for my entire life, and it's just trial and error, and what makes me feel good, what seems to be moving the needle to where I want to be going faster. And it's taken a long time. And I'm the reason why I was talking to my son about it the other day was just because I don't want him to have to take 20 years to get to where I am. So hopefully he can learn from my mistakes
Yeah.
and my trial and error, and through my and as he shares my biology, and start improving sooner than later, the way he wants to.
I'm sure that the listeners of this, if they are living, working in the community that you're serving, are probably proud and happy to hear that you're taking care of yourself, that you're ready to respond to whatever needs they have. So that's great. I'm sure the fire service is quite physically demanding.
Mm-hmm.
From an EMS side, tell me about the demographic that you're responding to. I would imagine maybe there's some similar calls, maybe there's some off ones every now and then, but if you were to kind of paint a picture of your classic demographic of EMS response, what are you seeing in your community?
Via private or where my location now?
Let's go with where you're working now.
Okay. A lot of stressed out adults. I think would be a good one. Everybody seems to be real stressed in my urban area here. There's lots of drug use. There's lots of maybe low income people, and that need some legitimate help from getting out of where they are, I think. And a lot of depressed souls as well, maybe ones that have seemed to have given up.
Sure.
So it's hard to see. It's hard to see.
You have your skill level, your medical knowledge. You're sitting bedside with a patient. How do you address that depression? How do you recognize it? How do you?
Well, you
treat
can.
it?
I think you can feel it. I think the upbeat people feel like sunshine, and people who are being down feel like a hole, like a vast hole of empty in a way. There's no life. There's very little life in there, is what it feels like.
Yeah, I guess I can think about times, seasons in my life, trials. I don't know if I'd call it depression. Definitely, I mean, I guess maybe a little bit of that. But I guess, as a provider myself, I'd use it as empathy, and I've found that empathy can kind of be another tool in the toolbox of something I can bring bedside to my patients. Is that something that you've kind of experienced?
Absolutely. I like the term tool in a toolbox. I think we get an opportunity to build this very skilled tools in our toolbox because we communicate with so many different people. And a lot of the times they don't get to put their mask on. We get to see the rawness of a human in those moments. So we have a really unique opportunity to take from those experiences and share them with others that we encounter. We're very fortunate that we get to do that.
Is the authenticity of the experience something that has just kind of captivated your attention and your desire to continue pursuing being a great clinician?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a calling for sure for me. Absolutely. This is where I should have been the entire time. Questionably, I wonder if I would still be in it this far. But again, that's my journey. That's the way my stories went. So, but because it can be very demanding in many, many ways, which is why I like to try to stay on top of my health and really kind of be selfish, selfish in a way.
Sure. Where do you think that comes from, that desire for authenticity?
I think it's just a byproduct of the moments that we're in. And it's definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd agree. I had a patient ask me the other day why I chose EMS or why I like working in the field that I'm working in. And I had a pause, similar to yours, because there was a whole bunch of things that kind of entered my mind, but I wanted to refine it down to something simple, direct, thought-provoking. And it was really similar to your answer. It was just, I need authenticity. In a world where everything's filtered and fake and distant. It seems like the core DNA of ourselves is just screaming for authenticity, and that's what I feel, and that's what drives me. And yeah, it kind of sounds like you're saying the same thing.
Yeah. I think authenticity is our capital. Is our can't think of the word here.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going. It's like the human baseline human currency.
Currency, correct. There you go. Yeah, I think I do. I think authenticity is our currency, and that is how we connect with humans, especially the ones that we serve. But also, those same tools have served me outside of EMS and fire, for that matter, just even in the private side. And to be able to share those experiences with everyone. I don't think, I'm not a paramedic or a fireman, for that matter, when I'm clocked in. It's always. So, and using the authenticity through my own genuine response seems to work very well. And it's challenging for people because it's hard, seems to be hard for people to offer that authenticity outside of those maybe rare moments that we get to share with them, with people on the EMS side.
Yeah, I would say that you've probably developed some knowledge, skill, and refined it in a way that it can be used in all aspects of your life, which is probably a career field everybody would hope to be in. Skills, methods, tools that they can use more than just when they're on the clock. So yeah, I think that's kind of a special component to the career field for sure. So I know you mentioned earlier you've worked private EMS and currently work for a fire department that has an EMS garnish, if you will. Can you tell me the difference between what are some of the biggest differences between the two worlds? You kind of mentioned them a little bit, but dive into those two atmospheres a little bit.
One of the biggest differences is that when you're working private EMS and it's you and your partner, like I called it, against the world, you don't know, you're going to the same kind of calls, but with different flavors, different towns, different cities, and you're not sure. Depending on the municipality, you get help, but you don't know what kind of help you're going to get. Sometimes it's an officer, who has no medical training. Sometimes it might be a sheriff who maybe has EMR, or a sheriff or a deputy that's maybe was a paramedic before but stopped. You're not sure what level of help you're going to get, so you become very resourceful. And I think that is one of the biggest challenges, and also a strength, especially now. And when I do have on the fire side, I know what kind of response in first responders or help I'm going to get, because we work so well together here.
Well, you're living with them too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 24-hour shifts.
Yeah.
You probably get to know your coworkers pretty well.
Yeah, it's definitely a family. And the standards and the family life at the station, in some ways, is desirable that I want to bring to my children, that type of lifestyle, because it's built on hard work and respect.
I like that. Yeah. Another skill that kind of came to my mind as you were talking is, I would imagine you've developed the art of conversation. I mean, the demographic of people is a wide spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that's a skill of yours?
Some people may. I have a long way to go. It ebbs and flows for sure, but I have the gift of gab around the right people.
Sure.
For sure.
Okay. I mean, I imagine it would kind of take a lot for someone in their most vulnerable moments to open up to you. Just not even outside, not even within the basic conversation of collecting information and probably vital signs, but maybe there's moments where you get to have real conversation with these patients. Tell me about those moments.
I do. Your ability, or my ability, to build that rapport and the strength on, again, my authenticity, which it can't be faked. And I don't know what the sauce is on that, but there's something about authenticity that when it's real. And I have to give to the patient to get what I want, which is demographics and stuff, but more importantly, get to the root of why they're calling 911. Sometimes there's lots of barriers of shame or judgment or criticism that these patients feel, and to allow them a safe space to, in a short amount of time, under stress, with a large response that we provide. It's very challenging, and the only way I feel like has helped me is by removing all my masks, I guess, and allowing an authentic interaction with that patient.
I can imagine the call volume and the repeated calls for similar, what do you call them, chief complaints.
Mm-hmm.
That must be pretty easy to build up a callus or a prejudice. How do you move away from that, coming into a call that you've had 100 times to a patient that's had the same complaint 100 times before that you've seen? How do you keep fresh eyes?
It can be exhausting for sure. I think it's mindset. How I view a call is that it's ongoing, even if it's the same patient. Where we've had multiple patients that have called many times during the day, and it's exhausting. But at the same time, I don't think that that one moment in time that I'm with them is it. I feel like it's one long friendship, maybe, or relationship that we in the time from when I first meet him to maybe the unknown last time, where I'll maybe never see him again for a variety of reasons. It's an ongoing friendship. Most of them seem to grow into a friendship for sure. So, and you just through that time frame, you get to help them listen, take what they're trying to what you think they're trying to communicate, and continue helping them using all the new tools, maybe from recent calls since the last time you've seen them. In my mind, I'm putting them together. I catalog these calls in my mind, I guess, and sometimes I'll be communicating with a different patient, and something will remind me of another patient, and so when I encounter that patient again, sometimes, if I'm lucky enough to do so, I'm able to relay that, like that puzzle piece for them. I think is how how I view it.
Interesting. Yeah, it's pretty. Just watching you, hearing the words you're choosing to describe your profession, it's very easy to tell you've got a very strong feelings towards it, strong passion for it. You just said if you're lucky to see a repeat patient. I can't imagine there's many clinicians that would say they're lucky to see the same people over and over again, but it came out pretty flawless. So I think that's pretty cool. And earlier you mentioned there's elements of the firehouse, the day-to-day, the routine, the relationships you try to emulate in your home. Tell me, what does that look like?
Well, for us here, when whether it be cards after dinner, or helping to cook, or cleaning all together, sharing in the daily duties, to show that it's a team effort and nobody's singled out one way or the other, and we're all having to do it. It's another great characteristic of the firehouse that I like to share with my sons, for sure, because it serves, there's a sense of responsibility and duty in that. And I think when we have that purpose, it's rewarding, even in the monotonous of moments of maybe taking out the garbage every day or cleaning the bathrooms every morning. It's stuff that needs to be done, and it shows a responsibility. Sure.
I mean, it's your home away from home, so I imagine there's that sense of ownership of the space that you're in for those 24 hours. That's kind of an interesting thought to digest. Just a second ago, you said father of boys. So you said 3 kids, all sons, 3 boys. What are their ages?
So there's Easton, who just turned 17, Draper, who just turned 7, and Caius, who just turned 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, wild house.
It can be, absolutely.
How do you get the
I
energy?
mean, yeah, and maybe, yeah, I enjoy the chaos. I think part of it is maybe it's the job part, but to see the most important human beings just being themselves is it's a real joy to experience, for sure.
You're a little farther on in fatherhood than I am. I've got a toddler at home. At what ages would you say with your boys you start to see their personality kind of come out?
Oh, geez. Right away. I think right away, especially after the first one, because as a new father, you really there's nothing to compare it to, right? So, but when you see the second one and they behave just so differently with the same stimulus, and it's like, okay, and you start building that catalog of this is their personality, this is their characteristics that they're that somehow they've been given, and it's easy. I think for me it was easy once I saw a contrasting baby at the same age,
The jump from 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3. What was more shocking?
Well, for me, I did when they're not walking and can barely move. It's my son, but it's just a baby, and there's nothing. I guess the interaction is, I think, where the dad starts coming out in me when they're able to start moving around and getting to where they want to go. I think that's where it's fun for me. But those first 6 to 10 months those are tough.
Yeah. It's a pretty important time for the child and the mother bond to develop. I mean, obviously throughout their whole life.
Right.
There's a pretty dynamic need there right away. So yeah, I think I would say the same thing. Kind of tough in infancy, and once they're a little mobile, maybe start talking, have a little dialogue. That's kind of that gets the juices flowing a little bit. So, you must have a pretty hot pivot foot to be able to cater to 3 different personality types.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. It's not. I think of parenting as a bowling alley with a bumper lane.
Sure.
You try to give them a lot of room to live their life and not interfere with how you think their life should go, which I think is very important. It's something it's a tough road to walk. I don't want to interfere with their natural abilities and where they're going to go. So I try to, but also keep them safe. So that's kind of where those bumper lanes kind of come in.
Sure. Do you have universal guardrails for all 3 boys? Does one have a little more strict or narrow road than the other? How do you develop those?
Based off of their innate sense of danger, maybe.
Okay.
And their ability to kind of maybe like always land on their feet, I suppose.
Sure.
My first son, Easton, we were very cautious parents because there's no rule book on, or there's no manual for how to be a parent, and so you're just kind of wild west there, I guess, a little bit. So, and put an extra importance on safety.
Yeah.
Don't injure yourself, Whereas my second and third, it's more like take those chances, go out and play, figure out your body. You're gonna get hurt. It sucks, still tend to them when they hurt, but also it's like, yeah, let's try some stuff out and have a good time,
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting comment. There's no manual for parenting, and I'm quite confident there's hundreds, if not thousands, of books out there that try to be that manual.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been driving cars for however long, we've been flying planes, both of which have pretty extensive and articulate manuals, but you're telling me centuries of humanity, no one's developed the perfect manual for parenting?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So let's kind of just go back to your job just a little bit. You know, you're in the station for 24 hours. What are your boys doing while you're here? I mean, you're here at work right now. Mm-hmm. What's going on at home?
Easton's doing a volleyball tournament, which I'm very, very proud of him, actually. He made varsity his first year trying out for volleyball after playing hockey his whole entire life. And so he was trying to broaden his horizons. On a whim, tried out for volleyball and made the varsity team. So I'm pretty proud of that. So right now he is at a beach volleyball tournament, honing his skills, because that seems to be what he's really kind of interested in pulling him into right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Easton's your oldest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, that's after playing hockey for his whole life and still playing hockey, but for whatever reason, and I'm very proud of him to take that chance on a whim and be successful in a way, for sure. It was a surprise. He didn't even tell me initially, and then Draper is at his cousin's house after a sleepover, and Caius is just at home hanging out.
Outstanding. How old is Caius?
4.
Okay. I imagine there's someone home with him right now.
Oh yeah. Although he could probably, he's going to be he's the youngest, and he's going to be the one that's he's his own little animal, that's for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Explain to me how, kind of paint a picture of how you've developed your parenting standards in the home.
That's a really good question. I started after Easton, and after realizing there's not a manual for parenting, I started seeking out resources and information that I felt I wanted to model to my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I should even say embody, because you can't tell them to be a certain way and not be that way. And so I found a resource that is driven by the Bible, by a very respected psychologist, and it just hit home with me. And that's kind of what I use as a manual for how to be a parent and be the parent I want to be for my kids.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And is this a solo parenting at your home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. How did you come across this resource? Where did the drive come from? Let me rephrase the question. Where does the drive come from to be the best dad you can be?
Well, I think about what my dad meant to me.
And what was that?
Everything, for sure. I mean, it's like, it's the big guy, Yeah.
Yeah. 3 boys is a lot to handle by yourself.
It's fun. Yeah. It really is. It's such a blast. I wish I could have kids forever because I love it. I never wanted kids. I mean, naively never wanted kids, but man, I'm so glad I had children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the mentor role that element of fatherhood? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I absolutely. It's like for me, again, going back to the embodiment of it, I have to be it. I can't just preach it.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize that. And so if I ask my kids to do something or whatever I'm trying to do or get done or teach or mentor, I have to make sure that my ducks are in a row. That's the only way it seems to work.
Yeah. I've had this thought in my mind. It's like a repetitive phrase that a man that doesn't know what he wants or who he is a dangerous man.
Mm-hmm.
Hurts himself and all the people around him.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, as a father of 3 boys, develop those guardrails and give them that inherent confidence to be future ambassadors?
That's a good question. I think part of my role as a parent, as a father, is to observe what I find to be their natural strengths and try to develop them, encourage them, and help them identify them in themselves.
Mm.
And I think the confidence comes through trial and error and experience. That's another one you can't fake. Once you know you're capable of performing a task or completing an objective, I think that that's the confidence.
Shown by example.
Yeah, and through trial and error for sure. Absolutely. I think knowing that what you're capable of is what makes competent young men.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like there's enough motivation there to stay pretty far away from complacency.
Although that's always there. That desire is always there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a battle that it's best to keep ahead of it for sure. Can't ignore it.
You get to do you have the opportunity to bring other parents around you, moms or dads, kind of, the phrase "it takes a village."
Yeah.
What does your community look like while raising these 3 boys?
Sports families, the selective people that I tend to socialize with. That's a very important thing for me. I definitely the saying, show me your 5 closest friends, and I'll show you where you're going type of thing.
Yeah.
I definitely, which brings its challenges with your kids, because how do you tell them that you don't like their friends that they chose? It's a challenging topic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I've had to encounter once. I wouldn't say I was effective by any means. I can only plant the seed, I guess, and also embody it. But it's worked out, I guess. Because I feel like the wrong crowd is always lurking. And you have to. And the wrong crowd wants more people, and so that's an ever lurking threat, I guess.
The way you describe your home life, it sounds like it's moving on a pretty stable, pretty fast trajectory.
Yeah, I think my life is building momentum and it's on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
There's goals and objectives that I want to meet. and at times I'm a little hard on myself. I have the nagging feeling that I always can be doing more to get it done faster. Sometimes I blame it on my overthinking. Other times I think that maybe I'm just finding myself wanting the outcome to happen sooner, knowing that the journey there's patience in that journey.
One of the reasons I started this podcast is I started to recognize, whether through my own will or some sort of divine intervention, there's a space between the tragedy that we see at work and the routine that we fold into at home. There's something there. Those polar opposites, those two different worlds, they need to survive. They need to coincide, and they need to work well together, because if they don't, I'm sure you and I could write out a long list of people that we know dearly that chose, whether it was their choice or not, they just found an unhealthy balance. Mm. And it led them down a very dark and scary path. How have you developed how have you cultivated routines where you're leaving this place, you're on your way home? What does it look like to unpack those past 24 hours, whether it be extraordinary tragedy or not, and put yourself in the world of, okay, now I'm a dad?
Well, first and foremost, in that I learned, it took me way too long to figure this out, but I gave my patients the best of me and the scraps to the important ones. The moment I identified that was happening, I had to switch that like yesterday, because that's not fair to anybody. Mm-hmm. So I changed that right away after I identified that. So, and I think how that was done in a way that still didn't take from the patients I serve is that I grew with capacity, I guess, and having bigger reserves, because I'm not gonna. My children don't deserve the scraps of me, mm-hmm. by any means, and I think a lot of times we do that and call it, because work is so important, and there is an importance to work. There are also the importance that we have with the ones that we love, and I feel very ashamed about it, honestly. Like I just can't believe that I did that subconsciously, you know. So what I do to build my reserves, or to make sure that I'm giving from a tank that's overfilled, or a cup that's overfilled, that's saying, I have to be very selfish in good ways, but because I don't really think I don't think selfish is bad, and that I prioritize what I need to do to make myself feel like I'm at where I want to be. So that's hiking, working out, spending time with my kids, things that reward me, mm-hmm. for sure, mm-hmm. And that's first priority.
How long have you been working in this field?
I've been in 2013, so 13 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with relation to the time committed, when was it that you recognized this imbalance?
I would probably say it was maybe 5 years for sure.
Okay. So a little more than halfway through your career?
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
Have you noticed a positive feedback loop from your family life after making these changes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about coming home to your children, and they're so happy to see you. There's so much joy, and you're just crabby.
Mm-hmm.
No one deserves that.
Yeah.
That's not how it is.
I kind of like, there's positives and negatives to this, but going back to 24-hour shifts, you're gone for that amount of time in relation to the normal 40-hour work week. But you come back the next morning, and just like you said, you experience all that joy from your family because you haven't seen them in a day.
Yeah.
I think that's so powerful.
It is.
I've mentally equated that to, you're familiar with Starling's law, the law of contractility.
Mm-hmm.
For the listeners, it's this law in the realm of cardiology where the larger your ventricles fill up with fluid, the harder the contraction. And I like to equate that to, it's this rubber band that is getting more and more under tension the longer and farther away you are from home. And when you return to that space, the contractility of that is so much larger and more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I'm not sure how I found that similarity in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
but after I realized that, you're right. I mean, when I come home and we live in a split level, kind of like a modified split, I set my bag down at the front door and I hear little footsteps,
Mm-hmm.
and they're running towards those stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we're in the toddler phase, so we've got gates everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I see his little hands and his little head creeping over that gate when I'm home right away in the morning.
Yeah.
And man, I don't know how you describe that feeling.
Mm.
It's just like it's so good to be home.
Yeah. 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 It feels like a warm, I equate that to like the sun kind of being down and it's hugging you with its warmth,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially after one of those just banger of a shift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, the classic question.
Mm-hmm.
Craziest call you've ever been on? 13 years, you probably got to dig through the archives a little bit.
No, actually, I have. Yeah, there's a few of them for sure. The one that kind of sticks out is we were going on a jumper on one of the local bridges here, and the person who was going to jump called 911 to say that there's already a body down there. So, and there was already somebody who jumped earlier.
Oh my gosh.
And that prevented that person from jumping, and they called 911 to inform us that there was somebody dead down there. That was probably the most notable call that I've been on.
What was the dialogue with this? Was this your patient?
Yeah, we were the first dispatch to the bridge. And,
I mean, what is the conversation like with someone who is that close to taking their life?
I think that I don't think that they definitely at that moment had no intention of ever jumping again, and that's what it felt like for sure. Yeah, they were. I could confidently say that they weren't jumping for a while.
Wow.
I think it gave them such a jolt. And as we're going to the scene, I'm reading the call notes, and it's almost comical in a very EMS tragic way, I suppose. But I'm reading the notes and I'm like, no way, And sure enough, there's this other body right down below where this other person was going to jump.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Very sad.
Yeah.
Sad, and how many of those patients would you say you see? They're at the end of their rope.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in those patients that you see, and so little means so much to them, and sometimes it's just understanding, it's just listening, it's just a listening ear, and it means, you can tell it means everything to them. And maybe even a non-judgment, non-critical, non-authoritarian, just a soft heart.
Imagine the tools to build a soft heart as assets to use as a father.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of ending this conversation, I like to ask my guests if picture yourself in a room. You've got however many young men, new fathers, aspiring to be fathers, and you get to give them a piece of advice. Something that you've learned through trial, tribulation, pain, maybe something that you're living in the moment right now, a lesson that you've learned. What are you telling these men?
In regards to
the advice that you'd want to give them, the fatherly wisdom you wish, maybe it was passed down to you, maybe it wasn't, but something that you've learned that you want to pass down. The sage wisdom that you'd want to share.
I would say identify traits, virtues, and principles that you want to embody. That may change in the future, and strive to become those.
Yeah, that's very powerful. Very powerful, and I'm sure that once they're found, it's now, how do I maintain that standard?
Yeah, how to become that person, and what that person moves like, and how they interact through their day. For sure, yeah.
Awesome, that's great advice. Derek, thanks for chatting with me, man.
Brian,
thanks for sitting down and having a conversation. Thanks for being authentic, and thanks for sharing your life as a firefighter, paramedic, and a dad.
You're welcome.
We got a pretty clear
Thanks
picture, I think. I appreciate your time.